If you are an author, you will relate to this. Authors feel exhausted when they have put in a lot of work and results don't appear. Like any other profession, being an author is not easy. It takes days, months, years to write something, and then maybe one or two people will either read or leave a comment. And that's heartbreaking. Authors put a lot of efforts to write and to earn their living. Sometimes they have a day job to survive, to pay their bills, and they do their writing either in the morning or late in the night. The physical and mental tiredness can lead to burnout. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about author's burnout. What are the signs of it and how it can be prevented to get on the path of recovery? If you have struggled with exhaustion, low motivation, or burnout, write in comments. I know it exists, and by acknowledging, you are showing that you are ready to fight it. You might have heard people saying that write for yourself or find your inner motivation, but sometimes authors reach to a point where they look for validation and appreciation. They get disciplined, they follow a routine, and then comes a point where boredom or loneliness starts hitting. Staying motivated feels challenging. In fact, doing regular jobs like everyday jobs becomes hard. In the early stages of becoming a writer, it is important to do an extra job to survive, to pay bills, and to support living. Rarely success comes easily and quickly. There could be some few gifted authors who have a faster success, but most of us have struggled. Sometimes it takes years to reach to the level where authors can focus more on their creativity and less on financial commitments or paying their bills. Sadly, for most writers, it takes too long to reach to that stage, and by that time, the spark is lost. Writing becomes more of a chore than a place of joy. Consistent physical and mental fatigue leads to tiredness, loss of interest, and burnout. Through my discussion with multiple authors, I have found that there are 4 signs that show that we authors are hit by the weight of burnout. The number one sign of burnout is continuous self doubt. That nagging inner voice never stops asking, am I doing enough? Am I good enough? Over time, these questions erode your confidence and turn writing into a source of pressure instead of passion. What once felt like a creative outlet begins to feel like a test you keep failing again and again, and ultimately, it sucks away the joy of writing. A right amount of self doubt or questioning to know that you are on the right track is important. But if that voice plays continuously in your head, nagging you again and again, you reach to the level where you do not enjoy writing. Then is the time to pause and check your mental and emotional state. The number 2 sign of burnout is the missing spark. When writing no longer excites you, but instead feel like a chore or a never-ending to-do list, the joy of expression just fades away. The page becomes heavy, and what once flowed naturally now feels forced, mechanical, or even like a burden. That is again the time you need a reality check. The third sign of burnout is physical and mental fatigue. This isn't just tiredness, it is deeper exhaustion that lingers even after you have rested. Mental fog, low energy, and irritability often accompanies you. Writing actually feels impossible when your body and mind are giving the signal that they need a break. So, my author friend, the fourth sign of a burnout is the perfectionist trap. I think every author would have felt it. or must have gotten trapped by it at least one. It is a trap where you write, edit, you rewrite, and you still don't feel good about it. The endless loop of not quite right paralyzes the progress. It leads to drafts that are unfinished, and creativity reaches to the rock bottom. So, these are the four signs that you have to be really careful about and ensure that you don't stay under their trap and they don't lead to your burnout. Till this point, I have spoken about the four signs of burnout as an author. If any of this resonates with you, write in comment, tell me what kind of signs you have felt when you were facing any form of author's burnout. The next thing I'm going to talk about is after you have hit by the stress, anxiety, or the burnout of writing, the simple small strategies that you can use to build your resilience and proactively prevent yourself from getting back into the burnout state. The two things that I would like to suggest is number one is to have scheduled breaks in your writing time. And the second thing is to define your why. Let me elaborate on that. So, the first thing which I would suggest is to have break time, the intentional break time in your writing practice. Because just like muscles need rest after exercise, the creative mind needs intentional downtime. Stepping away from screens or taking walks or simply sitting in silence can recharge your imagination. As an author, your brain needs rest and space to let the free flow of creativity. Dr. Tara Swart, a neuroscientist, said that when we are involved in a deep creative work, then we feel more hungry. I don't know about you, but this happens to me a lot. After I have done 30 minutes of focused writing, my brain feels tired and my body needs more energy, and I start feeling hungry. That is one big sign for me that it's time to step away from my computer. The second thing that I need to remind you to get back into your game is to remind yourself the why. Why you got to the writing. What was the driving force that brought you to this creative activity? Reconnect with the reason that you started writing in the first place. Was it to tell the stories? Was it the process of writing? Was it the experience of storytelling? Was it to inspire somebody? What was the reason? Just look for that. That is one single reason to move forward with your writing and stay focused on your goal, even when things get difficult. If you are finding this video useful, if you are finding value in this, please share in comments. Tell me anything that you are liking about or anything that has worked for you. Share with us. It's always a good thing to learn from each other. After I have spoken about the strategies that will help you to get back into the game, to build your resilience, now I want to talk about the long-term strategies that will help you to find joy in your writing. And the first one is to reevaluate your process, to figure out what's working and what is draining your energies. Over time, every writer finds a rhythm. The methods, the routines, and the rituals that once fueled your creativity may start to feel old or even draining. That's why it is essential to pause occasionally and take inventory of your process. Ask yourself what aspects of your writing looks genuine to you, what energizes you, and which ones leaves you depleted. Maybe writing in the morning now feels more tiring for you. It doesn't fit in your lifestyle. Or maybe you have outgrown the pressure of daily word counts. Experiment with new patterns, different time of the day, shorter burst of writing, or new environments. Maybe go and sit in a cafe or look for a group where you will enjoy writing. Most important part is to give yourself the permission to adjust your expectations. When you regularly reevaluate your approach, you ensure that your creative practice continues to nurture you rather than drain you. The second long term strategy that will help you in going far in your journey of writing is to embrace perfection. Enjoy the beauty of the messy first draft. Perfectionism is one of the greatest barriers to enjoy writing. And you will hear this from many authors. It is easy to forget that the first draft isn't the beautiful one and it can never be the beautiful one. It is actually meant to exist. The first version of any work is raw material, it is a starting point rather than a finished product. Allowing yourself to write imperfectly opens the door to discover and play with your content. It becomes more of a joy, a game. Just think of your first draft as a wet clay, which is soft to be changed, which has full potential to work more around it. And it is far more interesting when it gets shaped over time. Even your awkward sentences and uncertain paragraphs actually represents your courage. It shows the progress. The goal is not to have a flawless product or flawless writing. It should be the ability to create something which later on can be refined. By celebrating your completion over perfection, you free yourself from the unrealistic standards and you rediscover the joy of writing. And the final thing that I want to share with you in the process of building a long term strategy to have a wonderful writing journey is to consider it as a marathon and not a sprint. A sustainable writing life is built on patience, consistency, and a deep respect for the process. Writing is not a race to the finish line, but it is an ongoing relationship, one that requires pacing. It needs rest and needs re energizing. Burnout often stems from sprinting too hard towards your goal. You are chasing your dreams, and that leads to a burnout. You are not giving yourself the space to breathe. Instead, approach your craft as a long journey that is marked by cycles of creation and reflection. Each draft, each revision, and each pause deepens your understanding for your work and for yourself. You need to keep revisiting your why often. What brought you to the writing in the first place? You need to stay connected to your inner purpose to carry through the dry spells and doubts where not a single word will come out of your brain. Over time, you will find the joy of writing that will come without the speed or the aim to reach to a point. It will come from the satisfaction that you get from writing. again and again. You are writing for the love of it, and that's what is more important. If any of this has resonated with you, share your feedback in the comments. It helps me to understand that is helping you, and I can bring more content to you to help you to enjoy your journey of writing. This is Vandana Sehgal. I am a writing coach and a holistic wellness coach. If you need any help from me in writing a nonfiction, put in comments or message me. You can visit my website www.anewyou.se to find out more about my work and about my writing journey. I will see you next week in another video that will be helpful to you in making a fulfilling writing journey.